Welcome, Sacred Sexy Sovereign! Opening the portal for all you beautiful souls to enter. Sacred Sexy Sovereign, welcome, welcome. Just gonna kind of vibe for a minute while people join. I'm so excited. Once you're here, drop a comment in the chat below where you're joining us from, how you're feeling in your body. And just a reminder, there's a giveaway today. So if you join live and stay till the end, you will be entered to win the giveaway. And the live attendance giveaway is $100 in Ellen Bucks, which is $100 towards any invoice in 2024. So it's equivalent to your first session free. And I would love to give that to you, dear one. So drop a comment below once you've joined us live, letting us know you're here, where you're joining from, and how you're feeling in your body. We're going to get started. We're going to get moving. And of course, for all of those joining us in the replay, time traveling back with us, you are very welcome here too. We feel your presence. We are so excited. I feel this collective energy, this sacred, sexy, sovereign energy to embody our soul's essence for 2024. Oh my goodness. It is so wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and light a candle, and I encourage you to do the same. After all, today is all about making our lives more sacred. And so lighting a candle is a beautiful representation of that. It's an invitation to set your sacred space, create a container for ritual, for ceremony, for your sacred life. This moment has boundaries around it, and it's your intention that you hold during this time. We're going to be together for 1 hour, so congratulations on carving that for yourself wherever you are. Let's light a candle together. Welcome, dear ones. I like this song. I'm going to share the playlist with y'all too, just so you have it. This is our official Sacred Sexy Sovereign playlist. I don't even know if you can hear it. I'll turn it up while I share the link. Putting the link in the comments. God be my direction when I pray, I make it love. Amazing. All right, dear ones. We're going to get started with a little movement, just to get our bodies moving. If you're here live, let me know if you can hear the music. Just a little confirmation. And we're going to start moving our bodies.
Speak these words to be a bit different in the face of obscurity.
Just dropping in.
I see malicious and vicious traditions
Starting to feel your own body, what it needs today. I'll be right back.
With the people, fear in the shadows and nets building steeples. So easy to fall into that hole if it's how we were born. You say it's just the things that
Sometimes you have to plug in your laptop.
It's just the way that I was brought up. It's just the way that my people live. No other way but to give in. You've been speaking to me like different is dangerous.
All right, here we go.
The world's got no space for us, but our timing is perfect.
Shaking it out.
The world is worth it, and we're waking up. Who the hell am I to say
Just
I
get really
God?
comfortable in your own
God
skin.
is us, and we are not lost. Who the hell am I to be the whistleblower, to stand for a different culture, a culture
Start to sway back and forth. Bring a hand to your heart. Take some deep breaths, dropping in.
up as I am, determined to be dismantling.
Go ahead and start to scrub that fascia.
The stories and
I like to start with these
purpose in society.
elbow pits in your elbows, crease,
in the mirror where there's
down
so
through the wrist,
suffering. You want the world to change and
top of the knee.
rearrange to be in line with the love you bring, with the light you see,
Side
with
of
the
the
light
ear.
you see. Set your own heart free. Oh,
Through the
who
chest.
hell are you to say you
Take it to the other
are
side.
God?
Elbow crease.
That God
To the wrist.
is us, and we are not
Still
lost.
dancing.
Who the
Still
hell are
vibing.
you to
Upper
be
arm.
the whistleblower?
Top of the
To
hand.
stand for a different culture.
Sides of the arm.
A culture of love.
Cross to the heart on that side.
A culture
Touching our bodies.
of love.
So taboo. It's so weird, isn't it? And yet it works, y'all.
I'm giving up resistance, my heart
Tapping
is
the heart.
insistent. Offer my soul to you in every
Reverse
instant.
and tap.
Authentic calling to my one true mission, to love
Deep
the
breath.
world through my music and vision. I'm all in, ready to fall in line with this love divine, with this world of
Song.
mine.
It's about to pop
Together
off.
we'll rise and bring the shadows right to a place.
You are the
I
divine.
offer my life, and I need you to live a life you love, and I need
Take a deep
you
breath
to
in.
know that you're enough just as you
Blow it
are.
out.
We are on the cusp of this new
Shake it
world,
out.
and in you I trust. Every broken piece and place of shame,
Punch the air.
it's just love showing
that
you the
energy.
way. So let the
Kick the
darkness
air.
teach you your own name, so in the shadows you can stand and say, tell you who I am. I am God, and
Yes.
God is
You are
us.
sacred.
We are not
You are
lost.
sexy.
Tell you
You are
who
sovereign.
I am.
You're already doing
I
it.
am the
You haven't even started.
whistleblower.
You're
I
already
stand
doing
for
it.
a
So
different
proud of you.
culture. A culture of tell you who I am.
Shake it out, shake it out.
I am God, and God is us, and we
Give
are
your face
not
some love.
lost. Tell
Get in the
you
jaw.
who I am.
Jaw circles.
I am the whistleblower.
Ooh, my jaw popped.
I stand for a different
Touch your body
culture.
wherever you want to be touched.
Culture of love.
Bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the womb space. Sway with me.
Culture of love.
Deep breath in. Breath. What's your body want you to know? What does your intuition want you to know? Hang on to that message. Hang on to that wisdom. Dear ones, you are so worthy. You are so welcome to Sacred, Sexy, Sovereign Day 1. Make your life more sacred. These are truly the messages that have been coming through my intuition, my body's wisdom this season, and I'm so excited to share them with you. Oh my goodness. What does sacred even mean? Let's just start there. So sorry about that again, but we did just dance and get embodied. So let's come back into that body's wisdom with a deep breath in and let it go. I'm saying this for myself as much as for you. So today, the sacred, make your life more sacred. What does that even mean? I think whether we're spiritual people, we're religious, even if we're atheist, agnostic, however you identify, this word sacred calls to us. There's something within us that longs for time set apart for ourselves, time set apart to reconnect to the divine within, to connect to the divine within nature, within our bodies, within our own magic and wisdom. And truly, for those of us who have experienced religious harm, I see you and I am one of you. I identify as an ex-evangelical. And it has really been a journey for me to come home to my own sacred nature, to reclaim ceremony, ritual, the goddess, being a priestess, and having sacred space in my life has really been quite healing for me as someone that experienced religious harm. So, wherever you are on that spectrum, on that journey, there is a place for you as a sacred being. And because you're here, I'm guessing that that resonates with you, that there's part of you that longs for that. And I really define it as reweaving connection, reweaving what has been severed. It has been severed by the ego that thrives on separation, isolation. It has been severed by the patriarchy. That really is the system we live under, this power over system that disempowers women specifically and non men persons. Um, it's been severed by capitalism. If you think about the ways that our world has become so disenchanted, right? And Christmas is such a great example, what we've all just gone through, seeing the consumerism so prioritized during a season that's meant to be holy and sacred and deeply spiritual and symbolic. It's become, because of capitalism, all about this like disenchanted, dead act of just purchasing stuff and showing your love through objects. But what's possible when we make our life sacred is that we come home to the truth that everything is alive, everything is enchanted, and our relationship with those beings, whether it's the trees outside your window, the moon, the sun, the stars, the planets, whether it's your dog, the rabbit that crosses your path, the wind, the elements, the fire, and the candle you just lit, whatever it is, it has a spirit, and you can come into relationship by attuning to that spirit. So, again, this might sound super woo woo. Like, I don't know where you're at on this path, but this is something that has given my life so much meaning and so much worth and value. And the word worship actually means to give worth to. And when I was a little girl, I was reprimanded at my Christian school for saying that I worshiped nature. And I love that story now, but it is really sad that that was my experience. And yet I know I've always been this little witch mystic. Since I was a kid, I was drawn outside every sunset to go sit under my favorite tree. And I knew I was communing with something so much bigger than me. So just take a moment to feel into your body, maybe into a memory as a child, a memory of magic, of playing in the woods. Of playing witch or mermaid, and how it felt to know that magic was real. That childlike sense of wonder. Maybe looking up at the stars and feeling your place of belonging in this great mystery of life. And now fast forward to you as an adult woman here and now in 2024. And tapping into the spaces left for magic, if any, the spaces left for worship, for the sacred, for ritual, for ceremony. And If it doesn't feel like there's much room left, then that's what we're going to carve together today. So I need you to grab your journal, and we are going to dig into some juicy questions together. Where were we? So we're grabbing our journal. So what are some of the things you've wanted to learn, the things you've been curious about with your spiritual practice? I want you to write that down first. It could be some practices you've seen, some rituals, some auspicious times to practice solo rituals. Could be the day that your bleed starts, if you have a menstrual cycle. For example, I love to create a period cave and do some card pulls that represent the next 4 weeks of my menstrual cycle and journal and meditate on that day. Another day that I love to honor is Sunday nights. And something I'm really trying to get into for 2024 is really holding that sacred and being accountable to that. And so my Sunday night ritual for really banishing the Sunday scaries is to take a bath and to have a candlelight yoga session in my room in front of my altar, and to do some warm oil massage as well. And so that's an option. Some other days that are really auspicious for sacred ritual might be the new moon or the full moon. So just in your journal, we're writing down some ideas for some sacred rituals and ceremonies that you might want to start to incorporate into your life in 2024. This is about your soul's essence and making your life more sacred, dear ones. And I'm so glad some of you have found me after my internet crashed twice. So welcome to Sacred Sexy Sovereign. We are talking about making our lives more sacred today. So cozy up, light a candle. Welcome around the fire, dear ones. Some other things that you might want to write down. Are there any spiritual communities or spiritually focused people in your life, or kind of around the perimeter of your life, that you would like to reach out to, that you've been curious about? Maybe having a spiritual running buddy, maybe having someone to check in with you and check in with each other once a week. Just, how is your practice? Whether it's a meditation practice that you're trying to get into, an embodiment practice, you just need some accountability. I highly recommend finding that spiritual best friend that you can really just commit to checking in with each other on. And then finally, what mentors and teachers have you wanted to reach out to from, again, this sacred intention, the sacred longing to weave that magic and that sense of wonder back into your life? Are there teachers? Are there mentors? Are there classes, sanghas, communities that you want to explore being a part of in 2024? And what would feel like a good rhythm for you? What's a good goal you can set for yourself? Maybe it's going to Sangha once a week if you're Buddhist, or going to church if you're Christian, or temple, or some other spiritual community you can join regularly. Maybe it's finding a moon circle or starting one. I've started several, so reach out if you have questions about that. I'm thinking about starting one to the town I just moved to. It is very vulnerable. Sometimes you want to be held. So if you're someone that's constantly holding space for others, maybe feel into, is that a block for me? Is there a way that I can receive sacred community without always having to be the one to hold it? And I think we need both. We need to be held, and we need to challenge ourselves to be the holder. Especially if we've been practicing for a while, we have some gifts to share with our communities. Beautiful. Again, the purpose of this sacred life, making life more sacred, is because you are worthy. You are worthy of time set apart for your spiritual practices. You are worthy of time set apart for ceremony and ritual. and to really come home to your divine nature and to reweave these relationships like we were talking about with the trees, the mountains, the moon, the sun. Everything is animate. We've been severed from our body's wisdom. We've been severed from the earth's wisdom. We've been severed from our magic and intuition, women's wisdom. And so a big pattern I see in my clients is that, like we just talked about, they want to add in all these new practices. And that can be so exciting. But I will say to you, dear ones, make sure that you remember that the most sacred thing you might do for 2024 is to take a lot of stuff off of your plate. Because holding something sacred, holding your life as sacred, is to set it apart. That's what it means. Take a breath together. I'm still feeling very irritated in my system that my internet keeps crashing. How are you doing in your body? Let's just scan our bodies. Scan your life right now in 2024, right here, right now. Where is there room for sacred? Where is there room for you to make a change and take things off your plate? Just as we're taking this pause together and this breath, this might be the most sacred thing you do all day. And in 2024, maybe the most sacred thing for you, dear one, is to carve time and space for doing nothing. This is why meditation is so great. So yeah, maybe the most sacred thing you can do for yourself this year, dear one, is just to carve those pockets of time in your week, in your month, in your year to do nothing. That's why meditation is so powerful as a sacred tool, I was going to say, because and why it's so fucking hard for us to commit to our meditation practice is because we're literally sitting doing nothing. And it's only in this dark, fertile void that we can hear our own intuition, right? That we can hear our own wisdom emerge. And there's so much noise. There's so much noise out there. And, you know, with the rise of TikTok and all of these tools as well, there's so much distraction and so many shiny objects that try to make us feel like, well, if I were truly sacred, I would, you know, have the most beautiful altar in the world, and I would, you know, have this amazing women's circle to join, and I would have, you know, these super spiritual friends. But that's not how it works. We don't just snap our fingers and manifest like this picture perfect sacred life. We drop in and we carve space and we carve silence and we carve time to sit, and our intuition emerges. So if that's scary for you, you are not alone. You are not alone, and we can do it together in community. So yeah, in your journal, maybe just making some notes, like what are some spaces you can carve for yourself on a regular basis? What's a commitment you're ready to make to yourself in 2024 for your sacred life? Maybe it's an hour every morning, or an hour once a week, or once a month on the new moon or on your bleed. Write it down. And write down the name of someone in your purview that might hold you accountable. That can be this spiritual BFF accountability buddy. And you're going to send them a message when we're done here today, asking for their support. We need each other. Change does not happen in a vacuum. Beautiful. Okay. Some other pieces. Coming into right relationship. Okay, how are you going to come into sacred relationship with nature in 2024? I want you to write that down. Maybe it's just like a brainstorm list. What are some ways you can come into relationship with nature as animate and alive in 2024, reweaving that sacred connection to the earth? Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it's doing some rituals with the land. Maybe it's giving your blood back to the earth each month when you bleed. Maybe it's finding a sit spot when the ground thaws. We just had our first snow in Maryland yesterday, so I'm not going to be out there sitting just yet, but when the ground thaws, finding my sit spot for my morning meditation. Maybe it's singing a song or leaving a piece of hair next to a friendly tree. Maybe it's greeting the mountain each morning when you wake up, or honoring the 4 directions, which is a beautiful ritual. If you have a compass or a compass app on your phone, you can, and I did this with paper. I put north, east, southwest around my room for a few months till I got it. And each morning I would call in the 4 directions. And there's so many different incantations you can use for this. So find one that works for you or write your own. That's part of re-enchanting our relationship with nature that's been severed. I have so many resources on this, so if you need any ideas, reach out to me. I'm buying a house this year, so I'm definitely bringing my relationship with the land along for that entire process. And I really hope to bury some stones and some wish paper with intentions written on it when we buy our house. My husband and I both really want to bring ritual into that process of belonging ourselves to the land and stewarding the land and healing the land and our connection to the land as we buy our first home. Okay, beautiful. So now moving on, how are you going to re-enchant your relationship with your body in 2024? Maybe just making a list, some brainstorm ideas here in your journal. Something you've read about or thought about or heard of when it comes to your body. Maybe it's exploring a new energetic practice or some body work from a healer that you would love to explore. I'm exploring Mayan womb massage as I begin to think about conceiving a child in the next couple of years. Just what are the ways I can tend to my womb and heal and release past traumas? Maybe it's simply picking up a book like The Body Keeps the Score that you've had your eye on for years. What are some body practices you want to explore in 2024? Write them all down. Maybe it's getting acupuncture every month around your menstrual cycle. Maybe it's starting to do cold plunges and noticing how that expands your window of tolerance I took a cold shower right before this live today, and it's the only way I am not completely jumping out of my skin. The fact that my internet has crashed, I think 3 times or 2 times since I started this today. What are some body practices you've been curious about trying in 2024? So we've got the land, we've got the body, and then we've got your intuition, my dear. So what are some ways you can reweave that connection with your intuition in 2024? Maybe it's taking some bucking risks and then seeing what happens. What's some risks you want to take this year? What's something your intuition's been telling you to try for a while and you're scared, but this is your year to do it? And what are the practices specifically that keep you sharpening your intuition? For me, it's meditation every day. Ugh. It is such a challenge. And consistency isn't about perfection. It's about starting again. It's about starting again. It's always New Year when you have this mindset. Every single day can be January 1st, all right? Like, it's a choice. It's an intention. I think the most important thing to making your life more sacred is remembering your inherent worthiness. And if you are inherently worthy, if you are inherently the divine, and you're connected to this greater web of life that is also divine and worthy, then you can always start again. That's the really good news. So don't be afraid to set these habits and these goals and these intentions for yourself, because you might mess up. You will mess up. You're human. And I'll be messing up right alongside you. And then the next day gets to be our new year, our sacred new year. You can always start again. All right, beautiful. So we're reweaving our relationship to the land, to our body, and to our intuition. The final piece is your relationship to your space, your temple, which is your home. Or maybe it's your workspace, if that resonates more. Jot down any ideas that you've had or intentions you have for 2024 around carving that sacred space in your home. Maybe you know you need a good clean out, a good reorganization. Maybe you know 1 or 2 items that you could curate that would really change things. And don't forget, we have a giveaway today. So I'll be giving away this Kim Krans Archetypes deck for those who do their homework. And you'll get an email after this with all that info. Oracle decks, tarot decks are really helpful for encouraging me to have my sacred morning practice. These tools, it's on the one hand, it's not about buying more stuff and consuming, but on the other hand, it can really be a nice container and a nice carrot, if you will, to get me motivated. The same with really nice candles. There's something really sacred about adornment and beauty as a value in this work. And if that resonates for you, then explore it. Let yourself invest in what matters most to you. Beautiful. So that's reweaving our relationship to our space. There's so much more I could say, dear ones. I'll say a couple things about a morning practice. I was definitely one of those life coaches back in the day who thought that helping my clients curate the perfect morning practice was the most important thing and would change their whole lives. And I have definitely changed my tune on that. I don't believe there is such thing as a perfect morning practice. The perfect morning practice for you is going to be different every morning because you're different every morning. and it's different for each person as well. And so now my advice as a coach for carving that sacred morning practice is to have 3 pillars and to let them be so fluid and so flexible and so juicy that you crave it so much that you are willing to push everything else aside just to do your sacred morning practice. And those 3 pillars are movement. So that can be obviously exercise, but it could also be what we did at the beginning today, dancing, intuitive movement, just putting on a song and feeling your body. It could be, dancing, I said, yoga, like a gentle yoga practice, or it could be going for a run, like it could be any kind of movement whatsoever. And if there's specific body practices you wrote down that you want to explore, this might be a container for that in your morning practice. So you could say, I'm working right now with intuitive movement. And then another time in your cycle, you might be like, I actually really want to work with ecstatic dance. And like the music's going to change based on the energy of where you are in your cycle or what your body needs. So the most important thing, again, is checking in with your body when choosing your movement practice. The second pillar is mindfulness. So again, looking at some of those intuitive practices you wanted to bring through in 2024. You know, maybe you just want to sit in silent meditation and really cultivate your intuition that way. Maybe there's some other type of manifestation visualization that you've wanted to try. You get to choose, again, based on what you need in the moment. And then the third pillar is reflection. And this for me is the most flowy and dynamic. It could be reading a sacred book, spiritual book that's been on your list, just kind of picking it off the shelf, reading at random, or just reading for 20 minutes in, sequential order till you finish a book, however you want to approach that. It could be divination. So again, card pulls, other divination magic, working with your ancestors. It could be art reflection, getting creative, getting out all the art supplies. Sometimes, oh yeah, Elena loves the pillar idea. Great. Sometimes I like to keep my art supplies at my altar so that I'm really encouraged. Again, that carrot motivation to paint, to color in my journal, to collage, to write poems. I did one morning practice where I wrote a haiku every day for a few months, and that was super reflective and challenging for me. It could be journaling. And for me, that is a pillar. I journal every day as part of my morning practice. And I do take the weekends off, by the way, from all of these practices. But my journaling practice is quite an anchor for me. And I journal on the day of my cycle that I'm in. And that has been such an important way for me to stay connected to my body and to look back and be like, wow, look how much has changed in the last cycle. Or like, oh, I'm on day 18. That means it's going to be maybe kind of a doozy. How can I support myself? So I will typically journal for a bit and then bring in even another reflective practice. But these are the pillars: movement, mindfulness, and reflection. If you're someone that has 15 minutes in the morning for your practice, spend 5 minutes on each. If you're someone that has 2 hours, divide it accordingly. But truly, this has been a game changer for me. And really, if your morning practice is rigid and fixed, then what is the point? That does not feel like love to me. That does not feel sacred. To be really in right relationship with ourselves, we have to check in. How is my body today? Where am I in my cycle today? What's going on with my mental health today? And adjust accordingly. And that's really how we build trust and build our intuition, which was the whole point of making our lives more sacred anyway. And also, you were just so fucking worthy. So, okay, I know I've shared so much. It's been all over the place, honestly. My calls are not usually this random. I think with my internet crashing a bunch and different people telling me they couldn't find the link. I'm so sorry for the chaos, but I also feel like I've shared what needed to be shared. There is one more thing I really want to say, which is turning what you resist into a ritual for yourself, dear ones. We do this as part of Nourish Leaders, which I'm about to get into. And so you can take anything in your life. So ritual doesn't just have to be your morning practice, or the sacred doesn't just have to look like your altar or your ceremony. Ritual can also function as making something really that you really resist, something that you really crave. And if it's something that matters to you, I really encourage you to use ritual in this way. Something I found in 2023 was that I was really resisting looking at my finances, making financial goals for my future, and having the time it requires to sit with those decisions, to pay bills, to look at the whole picture of my finances. I wanted to do it every month. And so I created my money date, which is a sacred ritual. Again, sacred, set apart. So I set apart 2 hours each month. I have it as a recurring event on my calendar on Mondays. And I make it so juicy. I light candles, I meditate, I call in sacred support from my guides, my ancestors. I visualize what it is that I'm calling in. I journal around the shadows with money that are coming up. And just all of this, I pull cards. I play like really beautiful sacred music. So anything you resist can become juicy with ritual. It really is possible. I find that music is so important, like getting the senses engaged, maybe burning some incense or putting on some oils, maybe going to a beautiful space like a coffee shop or going outside with your journal. Just getting the senses engaged and involved in your ritual, it just makes it yummy. And you deserve for your life to feel yummy. I think so many of us are actually looking for that beauty and that yumminess and that juiciness in all the wrong places. That's why we scroll on Instagram for way too many hours. We're trying to get that hit of beauty, and you can bring that into your own life. You are so worthy. It just takes a little intention. I really hope that's what you're leaving today with, or the replay of our day one Sacred Sexy Sovereign with, is that sacred is anything you put your intention around. You are so worthy of an intentional life. It just takes a little space and a little time to set it. And okay, maybe some homework for today, getting clear. Out of everything you've written down, what does a sacred life, a more sacred life look like for you in 2024? Let's just take a moment to breathe that in together. Feeling again that longing for that more sacred life, for magic, for meaning, for juiciness, for beauty, for ritual, for community. Just see yourself at the end of 2024 having carved your most sacred life. Letting the images just wash through your third eye. And noting in your journal what's coming up. And if there are blocks, dear one, internal blocks, such as limiting beliefs. Oh, I'm not the kind of woman who has that kind of life. Fucking banish it. That is some bullshit. And number 2, the external blocks. You don't got time to be dancing in the woods with a bunch of women under the full moon. Who do you think you are to be worshiping the goddess or worshiping nature like I was scolded as a little child for doing? That's not the right way to be sacred. Who do you think you are saying you're divine? Woo! I just want you to take that in and let that turn you on, because those are all messages that were meant to sever you, and we are reweaving what was severed. This is your birthright, and it's also your sacred duty. It's a responsibility to reweave these connections. Our world needs that. Can't you feel that? It gets to feel good. Okay, there's only one person here that stayed till the end, and that's Elena, or Elena, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Dear one, so congratulations, you've won $100 in Ellen books. If you choose to use them, that's equivalent to your first session free with me, or any invoice this year that you might have with me, dear one. So congratulations, and I'll be sending you more details about that. So that was our prize for joining live today. The same prize is available the next 2 days. You can only win once. And then there's going to be this beautiful prize for today's homework prompt. So I'll be sharing all that with you in an email with the replay. I know there are so many people trying to join us live right now, and I'm so sorry that our connection failed a couple times. Last piece. Doors are open to Nourished Leaders, beautiful ones. Nourished Leaders is my 12-week women's leadership program. I am so excited. This is our second cohort ever. We had so much fun last summer, and I'm opening it again. We start on January 21st. This is a 12-week program to up-level your leadership. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an executive, if you're a mid-level manager, if you're a mama, if you're an activist, if you're a community weaver and organizer, if you're an artist, whoever you are a fucking leader, and it's time to claim your leadership. And this program is so for you, dear one. This involves one-on-one weekly coaching with me, group coaching with your badass new group of women leader friends. And you're going to get embodiment classes each week. You're going to get a 12-week course that you can take at your own pace around everything from managing up, negotiating better pay, building your business, regulating your nervous system, healing your inner child, and spiritual reparenting. This is all my favorite trainings put into one container, and it's pretty much the only container I have these days. So I really hope you'll join us. Doors are creaking open, and they will close again on the 19th. There are some early bird specials that I've already sent you via email, but definitely keep an eye on those, because you'll get $600 off the program if you join this week by Saturday. And that involves scheduling a little vibe check with me where we'll chat on Zoom and just make sure it's a good fit for you. Make sure that it's going to be the thing that can expand you and up-level you to where you want to go in 2024. And make sure that you get all your questions answered, because I'm not in the business of pressuring you to do something that really isn't a good idea financially or energetically or time-wise. So we just want to make sure it's all in alignment. And yeah, that's Nourished Leaders. Oh man, this has been a lot. Thank you all for staying with me, for watching the replay. I'm going to share that replay now, and share the homework prompt, but I'm just sending you so much love. Tomorrow we're making life more sexy. And when I say sexy, I mean sexy because you are in your body, feeling the turn on, concerned with your own experience from inside your body, not concerned in anyone else's gaze or experience of your body. This has been the most transformational piece a lot of clients have shared with me from working with me. It's the medicine I bring to my clients. And we're going to do a lot more embodiment and dancing tomorrow. Hopefully my internet connection will hold. I'm loving you all so, so much. Here's to your 2024 being the most sacred year yet. Would love to hear what that looks like for you. Let's encourage each other. So much love, dear ones. If you have questions, you can always pop them in the chat below, and I'll try to get back with you soon. Have a beautiful Sunday night. Maybe go have a juicy sacred ritual to start your week. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow we meet at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And yes, it's also going to be a Facebook Live. Hopefully the internet holds. All right.